coming up my drama-filled trip to Perth. Hey there, welcome to episode 39, which was my drama-filled trip to Perth last week. In fact, as I'm recording this, I'm still in Perth. Now, a reason why I made the trip is to get my wife's car serviced, and not only that, you can see here she's got a little dent on her door there. Now, that dent wasn't caused by us, it was actually done at the dealer just before we picked it up. So somebody hit it in the car park, and they told us that when we were due to come to Perth to do the first service, you know, the 5,000 kilometre service, they would take care of it and fix it for us. So that's the reason why I'm in Perth. But anyway, our trip begins last week when I left quite early on a Wednesday morning to go to Perth, and our first little stop is Coolgardie, which also I didn't really plan to stop at, but just on a whim I decided to stop there. So it's a 40 kilometre trip roughly, and it takes about half an hour. Alright, let's go on with our trip to Perth to get my wife's car serviced. So far we've got a nice morning. I'm getting up nice and early today, so it's not even 7 o'clock in the morning, but we've had some really warm weather in the goldfields. I'm pleased that it's just a bit cloudy and overcast this morning, and a relatively mild 21 degrees. So we're just about to drive into Coolgardie here, which is only about 40 k's from Kalgoorlie, and I'm going to give the fast charge as I go here, not because I need the charge, but because I'm going to do a few little side trips, so I'm happy to have just a little bit of an extra percentage in the battery. For those of you who don't know where the chargers are in Coolgardie, they're right near the Shire offices, so they're sort of just next to it. You can see here's the Shire offices here, and then right next to it, the building, you've got the chargers here, and I'm pleased to say there's also good lighting here, so at night time it's not too bad. So you may have seen in my previous videos, the ones in Merredin, they're very dark at night time if you happen to be charging at night. Well, let's go and have a look here at the chargers anyway. Looks like as it's preparing to charge, so you just plug it in basically and then hit the app if that's the way you're charging, and then you'll see just after it's communicated with the car, which doesn't take that long, away you charge. And because I'm nearly full anyway, I'm over 90%, I'm not going to get that, you know, really fast charging rate, for those of you who are not aware. So there you can see it's already topped out at only around 33 kilowatts. So it's saying there 18 minutes to full. So yeah, we'll just probably sit here for around about 15 minutes and put some charge in, and that will give me a little bit extra to do a few side trips today. And yeah, it's not a bad little spot here. You can see it's all still very new. It's only been open for a couple of months, maybe max. And here you've got the swimming pool there next door. Unfortunately though, like many of the new chargers, there's no shade here, and there's no real facilities, there's no rubbish bin, nothing like that. So they're all things which hopefully they'll improve on in future times. So yeah, if you're watching government, put some infrastructure in, okay? We need it. We need at least a rubbish bin, something to clean your windscreen, and some shade. Actually bad, just 15 minutes for a little top up there. So now we're leaving Coolgardie, and yeah, I've got a full tank of electrons, woohoo! So it was actually 14 minutes, 7.62 kilowatts, just $4.57, and I'm about to get some news. Okay, so I've just found out some bad news, and that is that the fast chargers at Southern Cross are not working. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. That's not good news. I'm going to have to see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to have to either go quite slow, because I'm not going to be able to charge at Southern Cross, which means I'm going to have to try and make it to Merredin. So I'll have to go and work out if I can actually do that or not. So yeah, not good news. Okay, so it was a good thing I filled up in Coolgardie there, because it's still another 283 kilometres to get to Merredin. sort of pushing a thing, but I'm going to try it. So this could be an interesting trip, but I'm just going to stick on 90, which in reality is probably about 87. So it's going to be a bit of a slow drive, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. I'm happy to take it easy, because the only other option is I have to go back home and get another cable for BYO charging and do a slow charge in Southern Cross. But you know, if I have to do that, I have to go back home. Then I'd have to recharge in Coolgardie, which is going to add another probably hour to my trip. So I decided it's better just to go slow and stick on about 90, maybe even drop to lower than that, if it looks like the economy's not going to be there, because I'm going to really need to have the kilowatts down. News so far is I've just had a look there, and I'm on about 15.8. So if I can stick to that, I should comfortably make Merredin. But I'm really going to be conservative here. I really don't want to drop much below 10% by the time I get there. So far so good here. I've turned the aircon off as well. Luckily it's a cool morning so far, so I don't really need the aircon on. So I've turned that off to give me a little bit of extra economy. Now if worst comes to worst, I can always pop in and see Ron at Moorine Rock, the Nullala farm retreat, and I can just plug my little AC slow charger in there and hang around for a couple of hours. At Nulla, I'm sure he'd let me do that, or there might even be a 240 volt pin somewhere in Southern Cross I could use. So yeah, no worries, I'll make it, but it'll be a little bit of an adventure today anyway. But yep, just going to put some podcasts on now because I'm really pottering along here at quite a slow pace. The joys of an EV. But I don't know whether we've got a tailwind, but if so, that would be really fortunate. But the economy seems to be staying around 15, so I don't think I'm going to have any issues, to be honest, making it to Merredin. So I've upped my speed, and I'm sitting on about 92 in real terms, and I'm just having to pull over for the odd truck to pass me because I don't really want to hold up the traffic. But it looks like I should be right. I might even be able to increase it to 100 when I get a bit closer to Merredin. So yeah, I'm just going to have to adjust the speed. Mind you, the aircon is still off. So I'm not sure if it's because I turned the aircon off, but wow, that economy's really dropped below 14 now. So I've decided to up the speed to 100 again, which is around 97. And I'll just keep an eye on it. But I think I can spare 1 kilometre and go and check out Woolgangie. I've never been there before. Let's see what it says. So there's not much here. But Wallaroo Rock is very, very close, so I might go and have a sticky peek. Might even have a little climb of this rock up here if it's not too far. This is Wallaroo Rock, I believe. So I've just done a little bit of bush bashing in the car. Might have to put a little bit of sunscreen on my arms because it's starting to get warm. There's a lovely breeze blowing, and I think I might have a tailwind, so I think I'm going to be right with my trip. So yeah, I'm just going to go for a little walk here and check it out. It's a great time to visit. The sun's just getting a bite to it now, and that's usual in summer here in the goldfields when you got, 35, 40 degree day. By the time you get to 8 o'clock, that's it, you want to be out of the sun, unless you're crazy. So what a lovely walk I had there at Wallaroo Rock. All the years I've been here in the goldfields, it's the first time I've been there. So, I've always loved seeing new places. Now it has warmed up quite a bit, so I'm still going to hold off on the aircon. I'm just going to get back out on the highway, which is just a couple of k's. And it's a pretty strong bet I've got a tailwind, because when I was up on top of that hill, when I was facing east, the wind was blowing in me. So that's great for me. It means I can easily stick on 100 and I don't have to go any slower, and I should easily get to Merredin. But we'll give you all the facts as we drive along so you can see how I go. And just a little bit further along, about 40 k's, I decided to stop at the Boorabbin Memorial, which is a memorial for 3 truck drivers who sadly lost their lives in a bushfire a few years ago. So I'll put the aircon back on and we'll see if the economy goes up, but I'm well and truly within the margins to make Merredin not a problem. So yeah, loving this tailwind, it's really helping me out. So yeah, that's a really lovely little memorial and a nice memory for those 3 truck drivers who sadly lost their lives a few years ago. So I highly recommend you to stop there, and there's just a nice little break and hike you can take. It's literally just off the highway, only a few hundred meters. Anyway, we're going to head on now to Southern Cross, which is just over an hour away, and we'll just stop there and get something to drink and eat, because I can't charge there unfortunately. And we're crossing over into the wheat belt. So after a little break in Southern Cross, I decide just to go as far as Moorine Rock, which is about 15 minutes away. It's only 20 odd k's, and then I'm going to turn off and do some back streets, seeing as the economy is easily going to get me to Merredin. Hey, so I've left Southern Cross, and you can see I've got a really good economy going on today with that tailwind, and yeah, easily sitting on 100 now, and got the aircon on as well. So yeah, I might actually turn off at Moorine Rock and do some back roads just for something different, because I'm gonna easily do Merredin. So I turn off at Moorine Rock and head south, and this is roughly the route I follow here. It's 109 kilometers, give or take, and it takes just over an hour. So I'm still comfortably going to make Merredin, and enjoying driving these back roads where there's nobody around. And they're quite good, these roads, and just seeing some bit of farmland. Even though it's a bit dry, it's quite interesting, the landscape. Back on a sealed road, which is Woolgangie Road, and we're only about 50 k's now from Merredin, so rock on. So check that out. So the wind definitely didn't 5.8. So we're not far from Merredin now. 40 k's and beautiful road. And that was really great getting off the highway. It's I always love exploring these back streets. A little bit harder with an EV, of course, but yeah, if you're careful, you can easily do it. So yeah, just inland here from Merredin, they've got this massive wind farm, and it's a great place for one too because it's away from the highway. It's mainly farming land around here, and renewable energy, baby, it's the future. Got down to 19%, so easily made Merredin from Coolgardie. Just information, if you take it easy and just monitor the wind. So I'll probably be here for about an hour before I go to my accommodation. Okay, so I ended up spending 50 minutes there at the fast chargers in Merredin. The distance I travelled was 333 kilometres, 81%, which I worked out to be 48.6 kilowatts of the battery. And when all was done and dusted, an amazing 14.59 kilowatts per 100 kilometres. Excellent result, thanks tailwind. Alright, so I've made it to Merredin, I've plugged in, and I just read some sad news that Roy is stopping the accommodation here. He's actually going to sell the property, so that's a bit sad. This is a lovely place to stay here in Merredin, this rural property, but maybe the new owners might decide to keep the Airbnb, who knows. But anyway, I've plugged in, so you can see I charged to around about 85% there, and it's saying here 7 hours till this one is full, but I might go for a drive later on this afternoon, maybe go for a little trip. And I might even put the drone up as well. Anyway, I'm looking forward to just having a rest now after this morning's drive. It's pretty hot, I can tell you. Check the temperature and it's 37 degrees, and no wonder the sheep are all here. They're a little bit scared of me, so I won't get too close. But yeah, it's a lovely place to stay, this one, so I'm a bit sad that it's being sold, but you know, the owner, he's getting on a bit and he's still in good health, so he wants to move into town, which I understand. So yeah, I wonder who will buy this and whether they will decide to do it as an Airbnb. I hope so. It'd be really great, because this is better than staying into town, I reckon. I've got a little friendly visitor out there. So of course we find out later that there was a massive storm which went through the wheat belts and goldfields, and it took down 5 of these babies, which means power's out, and that's why the power went out in Merredin. We didn't know that, of course, at the time. We learned all that later, but as a result I decided to push on to Perth simply because I didn't know when the power was going to come back on. So yeah, we've got a power cut in Merredin. No idea when it's going to be done. It could be midnight, it could be tomorrow morning. Unfortunately it was very, very warm there in the Dongwon, so I turned off the aircon when I went out, and it's just like a sauna in there. So I decided to cut short, and I booked a place in Perth tonight, so I'm continuing with my journey here. It's 7:30, it's probably going to be about 10:30 by the time I get to Perth. But we'll see how we go there. But I've got a place booked in Perth, and it should be a bit more comfortable for me to sleep tonight. So yeah, a little bit disappointing there in Merredin. It's been a bit of a day of dramas, what with the Southern Cross charges down and not sure if I could make Merredin, and now the power cut here in Merredin, making life very uncomfortable. So anyway, I'm gonna keep going on to Perth now. The adventure continues. I just switched to night mode, which looks pretty cool. Find it always a bit easier to drive. It's not quite so bright, and it's beautiful sunset this evening. Beautiful sky. Made it to Perth. I'm here again at this Russ's Discount Home Centre, but there was no one here, so that's good because I'm getting a good over 60 kilowatts I should say, charging speed, which is pretty good. And yeah, I'm getting tired though. It's 20 past 10 now, and yeah, my accommodation's just half an hour from here roughly, so I'm probably just going to stick around here for half an hour, I'd say, and whatever charge I get, that should be plenty to get me to my accommodation. So yeah, quite an eventful day, but in the end I got here with plenty of charge to spare. So yeah, interesting day, and at least there's power on in Perth, so I'll be able to get a good night's sleep tonight. So that was my rather interesting trip to Perth. I'm glad I got there safely, and one thing I will say is I did learn quite a bit about the capabilities of the car and the range and everything, and what you have to do to eke out that range. So thanks very much for sticking with me. It was a long episode, so thanks a lot, and I look forward to seeing you very soon with more great stuff on Atto 3 Adventures. See you now. Bye.